Our world is changing, and we're the ones who are changing it.
We are ready.
I'm ready.
We are ready.
Young people's voices are being heard. I want to be one of those voices.
We're ready. I'm ready.
Expressing our ideas through art is a very effective way in making our voices heard.
It's time for the future. We will rise up.
We will rise up.
We will rise up.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 National Student Medalists. and gentlemen, please welcome the star of the Divergent movies, The Fault in Our Stars, and last year's Oscar-nominated Baby Driver, Ansel Elgort.
Oh man, now I'm out of breath. Welcome to the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. Oh. This is not an academic award. I would never be asked to present at an academic award show. We're clearly not an athletic award show. No, this is an art award show, which is a weird thing that we award artists, but we do. You know, what's most important though is that you guys are all here because you're creatives. And being creatives is a magical thing, as you know. Being creative is what I fell in love with doing when I was a kid, and it's what I still love doing. And it's what brings me the most happiness in my life. You know, I think about I've had a lot of success and I've been really lucky. But when it all comes down to it, the most important thing in life is happiness. And you don't get happiness from success or from wealth. You really get it from what you love to do. And it's from being creative. And what I want to encourage all of you guys to do throughout your lives, and if this will become your career, if becoming a creative will become your career, it's to remember why you started this in the first place. Because right now you guys are 17, 18, right? Around that age. And up to this point, you've always been encouraged to be creative, but now you're about to start real life. And when real life starts, that creativity is going to become oppressed. And people are going to tell you how to become creative and how you should change your creativity to become successful, or to change your creativity so that way you can make more money and be more happy. But what I just said was that you get your happiness from actually doing what you love doing. And I never want you to compromise that. Please, I'm in such a lucky position right now to be in front of all of you and talking, to have this stage, because I feel as though it's my responsibility right now to say that. Don't compromise that, and don't allow other people to tell you how to see the world. As artists, we get to see the world through our own eyes and then make art that has to do with that. And that's why, as an artist, you have the ability to become an original and a new thinker. And no matter how wild your ideas are, you have to make them come true. That's how you will be happy. Some artists, as you know, were ostracized. And people said their ideas were too wild, and no one even paid attention. And then years later, when they were dead, people said, wow, that person really had great ideas. Look at their paintings now. So don't think that the only way to become successful as an artist and the only way to be happy is for your art to immediately be hanging on the walls and for people to immediately say, this is a great artist. It's about you. Being an artist is a greedy thing. This is about you, and it's about making your art the way you want to make it. And I'm really excited to see all of the art that you guys have made and will continue to make. These next few years are weird years. I just went through them. I'm 24 now, so I'm a little older than you, but not by much. And I wish I could go back to being 18. And I wish I didn't make any compromises. Because, like I said, it's the actual act of creating that brings me happiness. It's not about success. So really, go out there, create, find your happiness, follow your artistic impulses, and you will be happy. And you will make great art. And I'm very excited to see it all. I'm sure the cream will rise to the top. And if it doesn't, then it's okay, the next generation will see it. So find your happiness, enjoy tonight, enjoy the next week, enjoy your whole lives, if I see you again, if not. Much love, but find your happiness and keep creating and be yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director of the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, Virginia McInerney.
Good evening. On behalf of the staff and board of the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, I want to welcome you to New York City, to Carnegie Hall, one of the world's great stages, and to the Scholastic Awards family. The Scholastic Awards were founded in 1923 by Maurice R. Robinson, just 3 years after he started the Scholastic Company, and at about the same time that the word teenager first appeared in the dictionary. Mr. Robinson had a vision for a program that gave high school artists the same accolades as athletes. Over the years, the program has grown and changed as the lives of teenagers have grown and changed. We have different categories and we accept different kinds of media, but our fundamental principles remain the same. We are committed to youth voice. We believe that artists play a profound role in transforming their time and shaping their culture, and we believe that the process of creation is intrinsically, fundamentally optimistic. We've seen a lot of student art and writing over the years, but this year, the work feels different. Bolder, braver, more beautiful. It's subjective, of course, so maybe we see that because we need to see it. Or maybe your teachers are digging more deeply to guide you more powerfully. We do know that much of the work we see is sent in with the encouragement of teachers who remind and cajole and guide students to submit. And when I travel around the country, I often hear stories of teachers who go above and beyond. Last year, an art teacher in Omaha told me that his budget for supplies had been eliminated, and then he held up his finger on which he had tattooed a 1-inch ruler. And he told his students as long as he was in the room, they'd always have a ruler. Like this dedicated educator, many teachers have their own art practices, so we are thrilled that Golden Artist Colors will once again host an artist residency that is only available for teachers whose students receive Scholastic Awards. Students from all 50 states submitted nearly 350,000 original works of art and writing to the awards this year, more than ever before. We're able to assess this work on its merits because M.R. Robinson designed the program with no limits on content. That, along with our criteria, originality, technical skill, and the emergence of a personal vision or voice, and our system of blind judging, have enabled us to establish an amazing track record for identifying the early promise of artists who go on to have worldwide impact, like the alumni artists that you'll meet later this evening, Marc Brown, who invented the beloved character Arthur the Aardvark. The awards are presented in partnership with a network of 100 regional programs across the country. Each year we present our Affiliate Award for Excellence to an exemplary affiliate partner, and I am so pleased that this year's recipient is the Milwaukee Art Museum. Bridget Globolinsky and Sharon Moulter from the museums are with us this evening. Congratulations and thank you to all of our affiliate partners. We're also grateful for the partnership of national organizations who help us reach more creative kids. And I'd like to acknowledge two of these great arts leaders who are with us here today, Larry Brown from the NAACP AXO program and Dr. Kim Defabaugh, the president of the National Association of Art Education. I also want to acknowledge the presence in our house tonight of the great sculptor Donald Lipsky, who was our Alumni Achievement Award winner a couple of years ago. Welcome and thank you for joining us. None of the work that we do would be possible without donors whose generous contributions help us to increase our awards and scholarships annually. Most important among them is Scholastic and the family of Scholastic's founder, represented by the Maurice R. Robinson Fund. The Robinson family is here with us this evening. Thank you so much. Scholastic and the Maurice R. Robinson Fund are joined by other generous donors. Their support enables us to publish our national catalog and annual anthology, The Best Teen Writing, which is in library collections across the country. Without sponsors, we couldn't have our annual exhibition hosted by Pratt Institute and Parsons School of Design, along with the year-long exhibition at the U.S. Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and a traveling exhibition that introduces audiences across the country to the students' amazing work. Sponsors enable us to present workshops on poetry, video game design, and editorial cartooning, and to provide scholarships for students to attend the nation's best summer art and writing programs. Grants from foundations and corporations enable us to establish special awards for students dealing with grief and bereavement, and for those whose work deals with civic expression and American democratic values. Sponsors enable us to provide grants and residencies for alumni of the Scholastic Awards and free art supplies for teachers. And they provide amazing opportunities for poets to conduct workshops at schools, museums, and libraries across the country through the National Student Poets Program. Our corporate, government, and foundation funders are joined by thousands of individuals who make personal donations because they believe in the power of youth voice. Let's hear it for our sponsors. Thank you. So before I introduce our presenter, I want to talk to the students once again. I want to congratulate you again, and I want to just say you have talent, and you have persistence, and you have luck, incredible luck. You're lucky because your families are here with you. Your families support you. You have educators who support you, and they've helped you find your way to this program, which has been sustained by the Robinson family and Scholastic and other funders for nearly a century. And you're lucky because you live in a country and in a time when you can freely express yourself through art and writing, at a time when every day, all over the world, people are still fighting for that right. You can help secure that right for future generations by doing just what you've been doing. Keep making, keep striving, keep writing, keep painting, keep exploring your unique voice. A brilliant astronomer named Dr. Lucy Ann Wolkowitz, she's currently the astrobiology chair at the Library of Congress, told me that she included on her postdoctoral fellowship application to Princeton the Scholastic Award for painting that she'd won in 10th grade, because it gave her the idea that she could be both an artist and a scientist, which she is. So, please, take this event, this recognition, these experiences, these relationships, and fuel your path to a brighter, more celestial future for all of us. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce this evening's first presenter. First as a high school English teacher, and then as a writer, performer, and curator. She's been an influencer in the Philadelphia literary community for the past 2 decades. Appointed the Poet Laureate of Philadelphia in 2016, she is currently the Center for Programs in Contemporary Writing Fellow in Poetics and Poetic Practice at the University of Pennsylvania. In 1991, she received a Scholastic Award for poetry, so we are very proud to welcome her back tonight. Please welcome Yolanda Wisher.
27 years ago, my mother and I drove from Philadelphia to New York City to attend the Scholastic Awards ceremony at the Waldorf Astoria. My wonderful 9th grade English teacher, Francis R. Romano, who passed away in 2014, insisted that my single mother attend the ceremony with me instead of him. Even though he had encouraged me to submit, he asserted that she, more than anyone else, had been the champion and protector of my poetic gifts from the very beginning and deserved to be at my side for the occasion. He was right. It was our first time in the city, her first time driving to the city. We both grew up a little more that day. Last night, I called my mother to remind her of our New York adventure, and we both marveled at how, through her will and persistence and love, I have made a life and career out of poetry and would be standing here this evening with the honor to present the 2017 National Student Poets. Over the past 6 years, the National Student Poets Program has created a legacy of our country's most promising young poets by providing each class with resources to develop their skills as poets and supporting them as community service leaders who engage and inspire young and old alike. Former First Lady Michelle Obama calls these students American literary ambassadors. This is the nation's highest honor for youth poets creating original work. And the only way to be considered for this prestigious appointment is by first receiving a National Medal in Poetry from the Scholastic Awards. This year, the awards received more than 23,000 poetry submissions, by far the largest literary category and the fastest growing overall. The Institute of Museum and Library Services is the funding partner for the National Student Poets Program. Their visionary work connects America's young people to museums and libraries across the country and helps to ensure that they are nurtured and recognized for their critical contribution to our cultural life. The collection of poetry by this year's 5 medalists is truly extraordinary. They are with us this evening to perform an original poem that each of them has created expressly for tonight's ceremony.
In this awkward teenager phase, I'm realizing that there are issues that I can speak about through my poetry, and through that, I'm using poetry to communicate with other people and to get a message across and hopefully change someone's mind through that.
Especially in these current times when you're stuck in between and you can't vote yet, but you still feel the effects of what's happening. I think it's really important to have your voice out there in whatever way you can, and if this is how it works for you, that's really, really important for teenagers, in my opinion.
I think one really profound part, or really significant part of the experience for me has been realizing the impact that our poetry can have across audiences, and realizing that poetry does not have to be just for me.
I do really want to work with Native women, whether it's social work, shelters, you know, occasions of domestic violence, like the support systems for that. That is so understaffed on reservations. And even like with my poetry, raising awareness of these problems would get so many more people interested in helping. So I think that no matter what I do or what I'd like to do, poetry will always be there.
It's a little bit grounding to know that like poetry and like the National Student Poets Program, like family, will always kind of be like a grounding part in my future. Like that's sort of assuring and comforting that I have like this group of people to come to.
Who knew that tiny summer legs and sugar-sticky hands were frightening? I picture his face covered by the crowded southern trees, so warm and suffocating, and I still see him clearly. Maybe they heard his name like war and pow instead of worry, due to power put in the wrong hands, which is to say, power put in the hands of the few. Maybe he was too sticky, or maybe he was too shadow, attaching his black body to white walls with the dejection of an unanswered prayer. The trees must have made him something unholy, made him into what he's not, And it's always the familiar thoughts that make us the most frightened. The necklace round his throat looks like a drawstring. History says, I'm tired, let me hang, and we don't listen. I pull down a light switch in the shape of 14 lost years, and an unseen forest clicks into existence, but I dare not turn my head. Everyone I've never loved is waiting.
It has happened again. Next week, they'll invite someone to supervise our lockdown. How quiet we can be, how close we huddle behind closed shades and locked doors. That night, I wonder how slaughter is an acceptable side effect of American politics. On Saturday, I take the train to Washington. I watch the moon keep vigil overhead, faint but there, as if appearing behind a lace curtain. I say a prayer for the children who march, for the children who died, for the children we were, and the children we have never been. Deception and Jesus folded into fields. I am unearthing the stories that were left behind somewhere between here and home, repiping liquid from oil fields, flame and dust and grime gripping soft lung after palm, light and chain link fence gasping for touch. Her, a woman of lowercase, careful cursive, 15 years old and a cog in the wheel of domestic employment, following failing religion from borders to crushed red candy in the desert, sending wrinkled bills home in an envelope, a path worn by paper trail tracks, and tall drawings of swooping flowers, of faith, of air, and water, and bread, a hope that makes language seem limited, pitiful, in which a bird crumples against a window, in which a fly inches upward on sun-stained curtain, in which we gulp for air and we realize we do not belong. Meanwhile, I bake in border town socialite boutique, volley of insults and gum wrappers across lunch table, cautious entitlement, pretending to be cultured, stifling the ways in which I do not belong in these spheres, quotation marks like cautious claw marks. They praise a return to law and order, and I have never been angrier in my life. The fields swallow her, smothered by dusk and remorse, rattling and sputtering rib cage, beauty and rage for a millisecond before falling silent, the way that brush swallows everything else.
Document, archived May 12th, 2018, Edina, Minnesota. In my family, languages mixed together like red wine and water goes down smooth and heavy. Raw fish, white rice, chicken wings. There's too much food for talking mouths. And my grandmother, wearing a plastic tiara and silver sash, smiles like a good dream. Even through my cell phone screen, I can still see her eyes flicker, pastel balloons, tissue paper crux, lemon laughter, all shaking because of unsteady hands, my hands, looking at hers. And if I watch the video again, I'll still think she pulled that ring out from nothing. Call it opal magic, call it warm, call it refugee redemption, or call it what you want, because that stone remembers for her. Country dead, family fled, diamond washed down the drain. That ring made like Busan sky, is more documentation than this will ever be. And me, half-baked, wondering how someone can be living history.
We are the generation that will stand for those we have lost to bullet holes and unjust systems. We remember, but we do not forget the chokehold of oppression, its familiar blood flooding our TV screens, our neighborhoods. This is America. Big guns and angry mouths that believe fear can shrink us into submission, racism, grief. Pale hands that tremble at dark figures on the streets at night. But we are also America. Black excellence and beautiful brownness and a magnificence we call diversity. We are America. The love our ancestors gave immigrants and indigenous brothers and sisters alike, interwoven hands at protests, flowering spirits that carve sanctuaries out of ancient spaces. Time's up, and me too, but never again, kneeling during anthems that echo with injustice and standing for what's right when we've been told to sit down and shut up because we're too young to understand. Well, I promise you, we understand. They only talk down to us because they know we're not afraid to rise up against them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding the 2017 National Student Poets, Juliet Lungwama, Annie Castillo, Camilla San Miguel, Ben Lee, and Kinsale Houston.
I want to welcome to the stage another talented alumni whose career has soared since receiving his Scholastic Award for Painting in 1999. His critically acclaimed paintings, murals, sculptures, and photography have been exhibited in galleries all over America and around the world, including the British Museum, the National Museum of Fine Arts in Havana, Cuba, and here in New York City at One World Trade Center. To present this year's Special Achievement Awards, please welcome another member of the Scholastic Awards family, Jose Parla.
Hello, everyone. Scholastic, thank you for having me. In 1989, I was awarded the Scholastic Art Award, and my life was changed instantly. When my high school teacher, Judith Mata, gave me the news, I was floored. My life in Miami was very different from what I was about to start and all the things that I would overcome. I had, prior to that, practiced becoming a painter by painting walls all around Miami. Yeah, that's right. And everyone would tell me that I could not be an artist in this way. But the Scholastic Art Awards also presented me the opportunity with a Scholastic Scholarship to the Savannah College of Art and Design, where at that time, I was able to take my self-taught methods and mix it with an academic foundation. Now I've been able to travel the world with my art, and I encourage you to do the same and just work hard, show all the beautiful love that you have inside, stand up for what you believe in, and keep moving forward. Thank you. So, there are 29 categories of art and writing in the Scholastic Art Awards, ranging from painting and video, game design to short story and humor. Dedicated and generous sponsors to the Scholastic Art Awards make it possible for us to provide additional recognition, scholarships, and awards. These Special Achievement Awards further encourage students in their creative journeys, for what we are forever thankful for our sponsors. This Special Achievement Award, sponsored by the New York Life Foundation, is given to students whose work explores their personal responses to grief and bereavement.
This year, I'm incredibly grateful to have received the New York Life Award. And, you know, it's hard enough being a kid and being a teenager and figuring yourself out, but having to go through loss and mourning at the same time, it creates this clashing, dreadful experience. And it is so important to write about these experiences because it helps you surpass that loss, and it gives you the motivation to keep going.
Never losing sight of the one I keep inside. Now I know it, yeah, I know it.
Chung Yu's journey is more than my own father's legacy. It is an homage to all who have experienced the loss of a loved one, and a message of enduring hope in the darkest times of our lives.
We'll never break, as long as I wake up today. You can't take my youth away, you can't take my youth away.
My charcoal portrait is a memorial of my dear grandfather Adolf. In my drawing, the equations scribbled around my family are problems from my chemistry and calculus notes. This shows what I've learned in my connection to my grandfather. He inspired all of us in our family in our academic pursuits.
Hi, I'm Emily Holtzman. I'm 16 and from North Carolina. I was honored to win a gold medal in mixed media and the New York Life Foundation Award.
You can't take my youth away. Soul of mine will never break. As long as I wake up today, you can't take my youth away.
I wrote this piece really quickly when I was just kind of trying to digest the fact that someone I saw every day, sixth period, was gone forever. It was kind of my way of saying goodbye, but also saying why.
Pain, but I won't let it turn into hate. No, I won't let it change me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 New York Life Award medalists. Now, the Herb Block Award for Editorial Cartoon, sponsored by the Herb Block Foundation, celebrates the life and legacy of multiple Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonist Herb Block by recognizing students who create exceptional work in his chosen medium.
I think that in this day and age of American politics, it's especially important for students and young people to get their opinions across and get their ideas into the eyes of the public. And I feel like my favorite way to do it is through editorial cartooning, to communicate visually and through my art. Thank you.
The topic that I decided to address with my painting, Women of Comfort, are comfort women. And comfort women are basically women and girls forced into sex slavery by the Japanese military during their occupation before and during World War II. And I just believe that these women deserve to be acknowledged and that they should be remembered for all the hardships that they've endured.
one foot in front of the other.
My artwork is my voice, and it is more important than ever right now because we're in a very political time where our sides are very divided, and my art portrays not only the beauty in people, but the humor in such polarized views.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Herb Block Award for Editorial Cartoon Medalists. The Civic Expression Award, in partnership with the Civic Mission for Schools, recognizes students whose work highlights and demonstrates awareness of American civic rights and responsibilities.
I am a light sleeper, but I am a heavy dreamer. My imagination gives me wings, and I can go anywhere. And when
So the topic that I explore in my art is kind of trying to escape the internalized homophobia that I experienced as a child through media. Just being queer is a part of who I am, and it's not something that I can ever run away from, and it's not something that I can ever live a day without noticing.
rabbit of death wakes up in a breath of beautiful dreams.
I grew up in the Iranian American community, and we felt that we've never had a voice really, and the current state of affairs in the United States, Iranians are seen as inferior, and I feel like it's an important topic to address, especially in poetry.
My artwork says a lot about me because within it, it talks about how I became to love being black. I am black and I should be comfortable in my own skin. It shouldn't take 14 years for me to realize that.
That's how you study the stars. That's how you study the stars.
In my art, I try to call attention to issues of class, race, and gender in my community in hopes of striving towards a more equitable society.
Such is the path of a dreamer.
In the news, all you hear about is division, people against people. And there's something so inherently wrong about that to me, because we're all human beings. We are all of this world, and I think it's time we stand together, regardless of our differences.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Civic Expression Award medalists. Sponsored by Bloomberg Philanthropies, the Best In-Grade Awards are chosen from gold medal work across all categories and recognize 2 artists and 2 writers from grade 7 to 12 as a shining example amongst their peers.
We didn't listen when they said it can't be done. We're on a mission to prove everybody wrong. We had a vision, now we've risen above everyone. We
he didn't listen when they said it can't be done. It's gonna make the papers, this shit's gonna hit the news. Cause fear don't haunt the man that's got nothing left to lose. 100 years from now, they'll still be talking, girl. Always remembering the day we rocked the world.
This is the X-Acto knife.
The day we rocked the world.
Kids need art.
Now all the haters even made it the two of us. To be the greatest, yeah, all that you need is love. It's gonna make the papers, this shit's gonna hit the news. Cause fear don't haunt the man that's got nothing left to lose. 100 years from now, they'll still be talking, girl. Always remembering the day we rocked the world. We rocked the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the 2018 Best in Grade medalists.
Fighting, feeling, do it till your fingers bleeding, veiling, trying, history writing, do it till we bottle lightning. You and me are human beings, pushing harder, smashing ceilings, laser focus, tunnel vision. Aren't you glad we did it? Working, living, fighting, feeling, do it till your fingers bleeding, veiling, trying, history writing, do it till we rock the world. We are human beings, pushing harder, smashing ceilings. Aren't you glad we didn't listen, girl? We rock the world.
That was great. Okay, so I've been up here all alone for a while now, and I'm thinking maybe one of you guys in the audience will want to join me to present the final student awards of the evening. What do you say? Anybody? Okay, who wants to volunteer? Who wants to volunteer? All right, you right there. Come on up. Come on up. Welcome. How are you? How you feeling? What's your name?
Destiny Sandal.
All right, we got Destiny up here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, no jitters. You're only up here at the great stage of the Carnegie Hall in front of about 3,000 people, but that's all right. You all right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. No nerves here. We got the script right in front of us. We're ready. I'll start. Okay. Every year, the group of seniors is selected for a special panel of judges to receive the Portfolio Gold Medal, the nation's highest honors for student artists and writers. These 16 seniors will receive a $10,000 cash scholarship, along with the fellow seniors who receive silver portfolio medals, individual gold and American Visions and Voices medals. Will also qualify for millions of dollars in scholarships held exclusively for them at universities and art institutes across the country. Let's take a look at this year's Remarkable Portfolio Award-winning work.
Everyone is unique. And we all have stories, and we all come from different places, and we all have different experiences.
I think that's kind of one of our superpowers as artists. We're able to take feelings and experiences and display them in ways that we can make connections from them.
We are searchlights we can see in the dark.
I believe that storytelling brings people together, and it's so important to hear the voices of others in order to find common ground and understanding.
Something that I'm deeply passionate about is creating understandings. I want to start conversations around topics that people are afraid to talk about.
Black kids, both from the North and South, we're living it all at the same time. There's people out there who feel like they're not a part of the conversation, and art brings them to the table.
What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers?
When people look at my art, I want them to laugh and smile. I want my art to be the highlight of someone's day.
It's all personal. Like everything I write is personal, even when it's like not directly about me. Writing is a creative medium where I'm always tapping into an emotional place.
What about love? What about trust? What about us?
I was able to open my eyes to a light that wasn't visible before.
We have problems that want to be solved.
Even though I am interested in politics, I don't think that I write for a particular agenda or to fit into a movement. Even though I am Latina, I belong to a community, and I closely identify with that.
I want where I live to be beautiful, and don't like seeing the community I live in deteriorate, fall apart. And my art is sort of like a form of activism in a way where I'm trying to make a difference, but I only know how to make art.
What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answer? What about us?
My name is Sam. I received a gold medal portfolio in writing.
Ever after?
My art represents a part of me that is still in the process of figuring out who I really am or want to be.
What about trust?
We have a lot of young people who are using our voices as a means to start revolutions and to change the world we live in.
My desire to challenge my viewers' perception of gender stemmed from my own challenge of accepting myself as a trans man. I want my viewers to walk away from my work considering their own identity and what it means for them to truly be themselves.
Right now, more than ever, I feel like my writing is important because it is detailing my experiences of growing up as a young Black girl in America.
Sticks and stones, they may break these bones, but then
I think my art creates this balance of harmony with beautiful moments, with also the ecstatic nature of making itself.
are you ready? I'll be ready.
My inquisitive nature and desire to know more about everything and everyone I encounter drives my writing.
Are you ready? I'll be ready.
As a person of color interested in the arts, it's difficult to see myself or people who look like me represented. I wanted to create it myself.
You said you had the answer. So what about us? What about all the broken, happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about
Sharing my voice and the voices of others through art has always been and will always be important in any era that we're in.
What about us?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome these extraordinary young artists and writers to the stage, the best of the best. We'll begin with the writers. From South Carolina, Governor's School for the Arts and Humanities in Greenville, South Carolina, Vicki Brown.
Canyon High School in Livingston, New Jersey, Kush Dungana.
From Charleston County School of the Arts in North Charleston, South Carolina, Malachi Jones.
From Los Alamitos High School in Los Alamitos, California, Serena Kuhn.
From Hollis F. Price Middle College High School in Memphis, Tennessee, Osarugwe Otebele.
From Boise High School, Boise, Idaho, Alexandra Swerdla.
From Cambridge Ringe and Latin School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Sam Wackman.
From the School for Advanced Studies in Miami, Florida, Trinity Wade.
And now let's meet our artists. From Interlochen Arts Academy in Interlochen, Michigan, Alia Bringus Brand.
From Ethical Culture, Fieldston School in the Bronx, New York, Maya Dixon.
From Lelehua High School in Wahiawa, Hawaii, Zaria Dudley.
From Appomattox Regional Governor's School in Petersburg, Virginia, Fletcher Johnson.
From Grant High School in Portland, Oregon, Mackie Mallison.
From Indian Valley High School in Genegunhutton, Ohio, Emily Schomp.
From Gibbs High School in St. Petersburg, Florida, Christopher Velez. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, the 2018 Portfolio Gold Medalists.
He's one of the best-selling children's book authors of all time. Goosebumps has sold more than 400 million books in print in 24 languages. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome R.L. Stine.
Thank you. Thank you. How nice to be here tonight. You were expecting Jack Black? Is that true? You were, weren't you? Jack and I are like twins, right? Actually, I'm especially glad to be here tonight. I'll tell you why I'm especially glad. I did a book signing here in New York a few weeks ago, and a teacher came up to the table, and she said, "Can I have my picture taken with you? The kids all think you're dead." That's why I'm especially glad to be here. And what a thrill to introduce my friend Marc Brown tonight. As I'm sure everyone knows, Marc created Arthur the Aardvark, and he is the winner of tonight's Alumni Achievement Award. First, I want to say congratulations to all the winners. Out of the hundreds of thousands of entries in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, you are the winners. You know what? I'd love to get to know everyone better. I thought maybe we'd start in the back row, and you could like stand up and tell me your name. Yeah, well, I guess we won't be doing that, right? All of you winners join an amazing list of authors and celebrities who've won Scholastic Awards in the past, including Stephen King, Lena Dunham, author Truman Capote, the fashion designer Zac Posen, the actor Robert Redford, the great photographer Richard Avedon, and the prolific novelist Joyce Carol Oates. Also, tonight's honoree, Marc Brown. Marc and I have been friends for many years now. I've admired Marc and his work for a long time. So it was very exciting for me when he and I started doing picture books together. I mean, Marc's so brilliant, he can make anyone look good, right? Our newest book is about a very dangerous 5-year-old. It's called Mary McScary. But I have to tell you, Marc's career has not been scary. Don't let him come out here and tell you what a struggle it is to be an artist and how hard it is to succeed in picture books. Do you know when Marc created Arthur the Aardvark? Right after he graduated from school. Arthur was the first thing Marc ever created. Arthur was so lovable, so funny, so engaging, and original, readers were drawn to the books immediately. Marc never struggled. He never got piles of rejection slips. He was an instant hit. So seriously, when he comes out here, don't let him do any complaining. The Arthur books have been popular for 40 years, and the Arthur TV series is now in its 23rd year, the longest-running kids' animated show in history.
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you can learn to work and play and get along with each other. You got to listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Oh, believe in yourself, for that's the place to start. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. To learn to work and play and get along with each other. Hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Hey.
Nice, nice. Tonight we honor Marc Brown for the Scholastic Award he received as a high school student back in 1963 for a hand-colored woodcut and for his outstanding body of work since then. Won't you join me in welcoming this year's Alumni Achievement Award recipient, my friend Marc Brown.
Don't get by when you go and get rough. I'm gonna love life till I'm done growing up. And when I'm going down, I'ma go down swinging. My heart still smiling and my heart still singing. Come get by.
Well, the first thing I have to tell you, as one of this year's judges, I found your work beautiful, insightful, astonishing, heartbreaking, and full of so much love. And in these difficult times, that should give us all a lot of hope. I'm here tonight with my wonderful family, my wife Lori, my son Tolan, who's one of the producers on the Arthur Show, and his wife Christina, our granddaughters Sky and Isabella, and our son Eli, who 14 years ago tonight was here accepting a Scholastic Art and Writing Award for his short story, This Cowboy. It's really great to have you guys with me here tonight. Thank you. So, how did I get here? I was this little kid in Erie, Pennsylvania, who liked to draw and daydream. And I got into a lot of trouble at school for doing those things. And I was thinking about what I could talk about tonight. The thing that came to mind was something that my good friend Fred Rogers said to me. Yeah, he was working on a show about animation, and he came to my studio to film it. And while we were waiting for the crew to set things up, we had a few minutes to chat. And Fred was the real deal. He had this ability to look in your eyes and go straight to your soul. And he said to me, "Mark, tell me about your grandma Thora." And I immediately started to tear up, and I got this image in my head of a day when we were helping her evacuate her home because the factory a few feet from her house was on fire. And I watched her as she opened her bottom dresser drawer, and in it was every piece of artwork I had ever given her. And that was the thing she chose to take with her. And Fred looked at me and he said, "You know, Mark, your grandma Thora was that someone special in your life, that person who believed in you. Every child needs one person to believe in them." And I guess I was lucky because I had two. My high school art teacher, Nancy Bryan, who entered that woodcut in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, really did give me the encouragement that I needed. So after 55 years, tonight I get to thank the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards for finding promise in me. Thank you. That little gold key opened up art school for me, and it led me to a job that I love. And then after being fired from 7 jobs, honestly, probably the most valuable thing I can tell you tonight is to not give up. I think that's really important, and to not miss your deadlines. So back then I decided after losing all those jobs, I would hire myself. I wanted a story that I could illustrate, so I reached into the pantheon of children's literature looking for an animal that no one had taken. An aardvark. And that was the first story I wrote, Arthur's Nose. I remember my editor's words as she read my manuscript for the first time. "Mark, it needs a lot of work." And she was right. I think it was 6 months of rewrites before Arthur's Nose got published back in 1976. And then I got my first royalty check, $68.43. Yeah, see what you have to look forward to? And now I have a job that I love. Kids are my boss. And so far, after 40 years, they haven't fired me. Well, I don't know what that little kid from Erie, Pennsylvania would think after all of the drawing and daydreams that he did. I don't think he ever thought that maybe someday he would be here. But I do know that he needed encouragement and someone to believe in him. We all do. Good night, fellow daydreamers. Congratulations. This is your night. You have earned it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman and CEO of Scholastic, Dick Robinson.
Hope, creativity, the future, this is what tonight has been all about. And it's been about you, the winners of the 2018 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. Your families, friends, and teachers are gathered here to recognize you as one of the top young artists and writers in the United States, as someone has said, truly the best of the best. I want to thank this evening's special guests for being here tonight, including actor-singer Ansel Elgort, our 2 alums, Yolanda Wisher and Jose Parla, my friend Bob Stine, not Jack Black, and tonight's 2018 Alumni Achievement Award honoree, whom you've just heard from, acclaimed author and illustrator Marc Brown, who has brought Arthur and so much else to young readers. All of them came here tonight for one reason: to honor you. I also want to thank Virginia McInerney, Executive Director of the Alliance. And Greg Miller, the chairman, and the many Scholastic and Alliance volunteers supporting this event. And of course, special thanks behind the scene to someone you students have met, the incomparable Billy D. Michelle, for producing this great celebration of your talent. And this is number 20 for Billy, and the best of the 20 so far. The story of these awards, like the company Scholastic, which started them, began almost 100 years ago. Now Scholastic is known to almost everybody from their school experiences with our magazines and our books and our characters like Clifford, Captain Underpants, now Dogman, Goosebumps, The Magic School Bus, The Wings of Fire, Dreams and Smile, and of course, Harry Potter, now celebrating 20 years, and The Hunger Games, now celebrating 10 years. But in the early 1920s, Scholastic was one magazine and one person, the 25-year-old founder, Mr. Robbie Robinson. He asked teachers, principals, and superintendents of schools, "What can I do to help you and also help my struggling magazine, The Scholastic?" And their answer came: create an awards program that will recognize young writers and artists so they get the same recognition as athletes. And so the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards for students in grades 7 to 12 was launched in post-World War I America. And like Scholastic itself, as it evolved from magazines to book clubs and book fairs and children's book and educational programs and now digital reading and learning, the awards program was operated in schools by teachers who were seeking good ways to identify creative talent and help young people understand the value of reading and writing and art. Many famous artists and writers have first been recognized through the awards. You've heard some of their names, from Truman Capote to Andy Warhol, from John Updike to Robert Indiana, from Joyce Carol Oates to Richard Avedon, from Lena Dunham to Zach Posen and Paul Chan. And as children's authors of such books as Make Way for the Ducklings or Marc Brown's Arthur, who won Scholastic Art Awards as teenagers, each of the winners has said that the recognition and the scholarships they won spurred them to go on to art school or university and try for the difficult life of the artist or writer. It is this recognition which is so important at any age, but is particularly valuable when you are in your teens. That's what makes this awards program work. When that expert judge who doesn't know your face and your name or your school or where you're from or what your background is, when that person says your work is not only good, it is the best of the best, then you know you can do it, that you can in some way use your newly developed skills to build a world and a life of creativity and imagination. I and my brother and 3 sisters and our children are probably the only people here who can literally say we owe our lives to the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards because of the following story, and they're all here with me tonight to celebrate you. My mother won a Scholastic Poetry Award when she was in high school. Later, when she graduated from college, just as the Depression hit, her mother said, "Why don't you try to get a job at Scholastic, those nice folks who gave you the Poetry Award?" She did, and 3 years later married our father, who was the founder and editor-in-chief of Scholastic. So that long ago Poetry Award certainly led to our being here today. And thank you. thanks to that story, the Robinson family and all of our colleagues at Scholastic through 3 generations has every reason to believe that the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards can change the trajectory of your lives, just as it did for ours. While you winners don't know precisely where this award will lead you, whether to galleries or blogs or bots or YouTube fame or movies or architecture or writing or fields unknown, you will certainly be among those who define the important issues for your generation. This evening we gather to honor you for your achievement, recognize you for your excellence, but most of all trust to the promising future of your talent, which can and will shape our world for years to come. As we celebrate these awards, we're reflecting on what defines the heart and soul of this program and why it is so important. First, the heartbeat of this program is in the schools, with those teachers who see great things in their students and teach them how to draw and write and express themselves so they can communicate their vision. Teachers are the key, the power that drives young people forward, the gatekeepers, the encouragers, the providers of learning and hope. And through the framework of the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, each teacher helps his or her students to do significant work, to enter the awards and to be recognized. This is all about the grassroots, the work done by students and teachers in thousands of individual schools, then through local contests sponsored by more than 100 affiliates covering almost every state, and now culminating here in this national ceremony. For teachers, let us have a hand of applause for the more than 200 teachers who are here with you tonight. Please stand and take a bow. Yay! There they are. There you are. Thank you so much for all you have done. Thank you so much. There you are. Thank you. It's you who are the heartbeat of this program. And second, this program is about recognition of creativity and imagination and talent. The national focus on creativity is white hot right now. Our society is hungry for content, ideas, and understanding. You have been recognized for your talent in short story or photography or sculpture or oils or watercolors or jewelry. But now you can take those skills to new levels, perhaps finding new tools to combine story and words and images in new content packages, harnessing the power of new forms of videos, photos, graphics, sound, and words which can now be instantly published and find thousands of new readers. From here, you can expand the contours of your content and creativity to reach broader audiences in print and in digital. And third, the direction of this program is toward the future. Although the program is 95, it is always about now, the students who are being recognized this year, 2018. And even as you are winning these awards in June of 2018, there are young people in schools throughout the country who are being groomed by their teachers to be here in 2023 or 2027. So each year in the month of June, new talented young people will be recognized in this national ceremony. As we salute you tonight, we know the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards is all about how you develop, how new creative talent is born and discovered, and how you and your successors will shape the future, for it is you who will be responsible for the America and the world of the mid-21st century. So join me now in cheering for you, the winners, and in celebrating the power of your creativity and imagination to expand, to strengthen, to reach out, and touch the world of the future. I want to thank you all.
Some people just need that constant reminder that no matter what color, what size you are beautiful.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for
I have something to share with the world.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the pain sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. We are warriors. Yeah, that's what we become. I won't let them break me down. I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we are warriors. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.